device should I have my secondary be on? Probably the... I don't know. Well, my phone and my laptop are on two different things anyway, so it's not that big a deal. Make sure my laptop volume is down so I can actually just see the chat without there being that kind of back and forth. So I don't like when that happens. Almost ready to go here, just waiting for a couple more drivers and we'll be ready. Yeah, let's just put on my phone, it's not a big deal. I can have the two screens. Hey Chad, do you want to let me know if my my quality's good real quick? I checked, but it varies sometime, so if you want to just let me know that real quick, it'd be super helpful. Hope y'all are having a good day so far. Enjoying your, if you're a Div 1 driver, hope you're enjoying your off week. That everyone else should have had, but this game does its thing sometimes, so we didn't get to have that for 3 out of the 4 divisions. What's up, Pork? How we doing? Just getting ourselves situated here. Got 3 cans of Arizona green tea next to me. I'm vibing, surviving, ready to go. Here's hoping no one dies in a turn 1. Well, yeah, that's gonna be the I think biggest challenge. I mean, I assume on this circuit in particular you mean turn 2, because turn 1's just that little kink in the straight. But from what I've heard in the F2 race yesterday, that was kind of a mess, which unfortunately I didn't get to be a part of because there was a fire alarm right before my race, not even lying 10 minutes before it started. There was the fire alarm, so I didn't get to race in F2 yesterday, but from what I can tell, turn 2 was kind of the melee as we expected. But I will tell you though, when we raced here originally, the one that didn't count back a couple weeks ago, turn 1 wasn't actually the spot for the wreck, so hopefully we'll see that again today. We've got the link as well, actually. Yeah. So we are going to have another qualifying. It's not going to be custom grids. Sick! I love it. Turn 1 kink is just... Well, yeah, that is true. That is true. I feel like this circuit in particular is built very, very strange. I think I actually would have preferred it if they put the start-finish kind of where after turn 1 is kind of that straight there. That would just make so much more sense. It's in such a dumb position, in my opinion. I will tell you guys, those of you who have joined us as we a couple more minutes to blast off here, I will tell you that this division has provided us some great racing recently. Very, very eventful, very exciting to watch for me personally. If you turn and if you watch the replays that I upload, usually the day after, Very, very exciting stuff to watch. So definitely stick around with us here. And also stick around to the end of the race because we have the driver interviews, and then we also have our very, very special announcements that I have the honor and privilege of delivering. So very, very excited for that. Touched Helg's tire and went straight into a wall. His announcement for it. It's going to be after is what it's going to be, because I'm kind of doing it so that we get all the other divisions waiting for their race to be over, so that we kind of have, I guess, priority over that. Which interviews usually wrap up anyways. I think our race usually gets done after their races anyways, so it's going to be that announcement is going to be after the race. Promise you, very, very special. It's going to be worth sticking around for. As I look at the Discord, I don't think we have the ready up yet from Cake. Cool beans, Mr. Pot. Absolutely. Capitano and Best Bond still have yet to select a car. And Capitano's mic's still on. Is that I get an extra 10 points per race. You might need it. That's actually not what it is. That was a good guess, though. I will say that. Tell you what. I mean, there's actually two announcements with that. One of them's, I mean, not as important as the other, but I mean, yeah, I don't think you're going to need an extra 10 points per race. You'll be fine. As I'll just deliver this now so it makes sense. Cake Thomas, I believe, is going to be moving up to Div 1 full time after this race. This is kind of his send-off race, so. As Cake Thomas has been one of the biggest up-and-coming drivers in Division 2. This has been kind of one of the drivers that I've loved watching. So he's going to be moving up to Div 1 after this race here, so it's going to be super interesting to watch, super fun. As we are about ready to go. I'm going to crack open a green tea real quick. You ready for this? It's Arizona. Don't worry about it. Yes. It's going to be huge. We got a lot of drivers like this. So if you are just joining me right now, welcome everybody. Good night, or good evening, and welcome to Week 12 of Division 2 of the Midwest F1 League. I'm Hotspot, and tonight we are at the Sochi Autodrome here in Russia. 18 corners make up this 5.8-kilometer circuit with 12 to the right and 6 to the left. 2 DRS zones here, making for lots of overtaking. But the driver's main concern is going to be keeping not only penalty-free in Turn 2, but keeping their nose clean as well. That's going to be a big challenge to watch and see. No, it's not a Twisted Tea. I'm only 19, unfortunately. We're about 3 years delayed here in America, so. What's it? What is it in the UK? Like 16? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Right. So, anyways, couple driver notes now. I think I can't tell. Is JC actually in our lobby? He should be. Weird. Thought he was going to be competing tonight. Possibly not. Oh, no, he is. Okay. Due to the leader. Keep that off. That can be on. That can be on. Right, so basically two big announcements to start things off. Well, not big, but driver change announcements. Uh, Basically, so yeah, as I said already, Cake Thomas moving up to Div 1 full-time next week. Um, and then also JC Blackley, he was here for the race that got canceled, so he is rejoining us, so this is kind of his send-off today as well. As we have a couple cars making early runs on track, that being Sadistic King and Super Ninus in front of him. And wow, he's gone straight across the curb already. What's happened there? So who's coming out on track right now? Let's go along with Impossible Bacon. He's making his way out. Why not? So here's turn 2 here. Now this one's going to be interesting because you can cut a lot of that inside curve to your right. However, too much and you get the track limits penalty. Go too wide and you get the track limits penalty. That curve is a problem. Then here is through 3, pretty much flat out that whole time around. But make sure you got to get a good entrance into turn 4. That way you set yourself up for 5, and then pretty much everywhere else. It all chains together after turn 4, because one bad entry into turn 4, you get the track limits penalty on exits. And then going into turn 5, there's a lot of places where you can pick up time penalties here. So it's going to be interesting to see who, I guess, stays out of trouble. As Super Ninus, no, it looks like Sadistic King will be our first car out on track, so we're actually going to ride along with him for this first lap. Around the corner he goes, Sadistic King making his first time lap, the first of the session. And let's see how he handles this second turn here. So he probably could have taken up a little bit more curb on the right-hand side of the track, on entrance of turn 2, but he's done well to keep it nice and solid through there, and he's going to get a really solid entrance into 4, making for a brilliant exit out of 5. So I think he's actually going to have a very competitive lap here, despite it being the first lap of the session. As he continues into 6 and 7. This corner you can take pretty wide and almost flat out. I know in F2 you can take that pretty much flat out if you tried. Peanut Blart and Jelly, what is up? I don't know how to respond to that, so... well, how you doing, Crash? Welcome to the stream. So this is probably the hardest corner on the circuit, this entrance into 13 here. You really, as soon as the braking zone comes up upon you, you really need to hit the brakes there, or you're going to go either wide in the corner, or you just... that corner's a complete, total mess, if you ask me, really. I'm not a big fan of it. Just a King making up a good lap there. So far, he's going to be going into 17 and 18 right now. So Sadistic King's going to set the first time of the session with a 132, 139. And this is Super Ninus right behind him, should be. Comes to the line. Oh, that's Capitano, and he is over a second and a half behind at the moment. JC Blackley setting a good time, only a half a second back. Ray 46, within 1/10 of a second. Very, very solid lap, and K-Dog makes her way up into the top 5 as well. Domingo's overstepping JC Blackley to take 3rd at the moment. So far, Sadistic King still has the provisional pole. Under in the session as well. Hash 9211, there he goes, setting pole over by half a second. That is a great lap from him. What a solid lap from Hash, and recently Hash has been one of the up-and-coming stars of this league. I think his first race was at Zandvoort, had the win taken away from him on a penalty, but then the next week getting second again. So he's on back-to-back second-place finishes at the moment. So that is actually really good to see Hash 9211 starting to become a prominent figure in this division. What else we have on track? Heavy S has made his way up into third. Pretty solid lap from the Racing Point team. Racing Point team does need a couple good results here. They currently find themselves 10th in the constructor standings, not far behind Alfa Romeo. Actually lost that position over this previous week. Let's actually go over the constructor standings at the moment. So McLaren back atop the table at 305. Then only 3 points behind them in second is Ferrari at 302. And then Williams, who have been on top of the constructor standings for quite some time now, has fallen down to third. Not that far back, only 10 points away from first place. But the biggest movers at the moment has got to be AlphaTauri. They have been putting on some absolutely amazing displays as of recently, and that is definitely the team to be putting your money on at the moment. And then behind them, Red Bull at 225, Renault at 192, Haas at 181, Mercedes at 163, Alfa Romeo jumping Racing Point to move up into 9th at 147, and then behind them at 143, the Racing Point team. So the Racing Point team, Alfa Romeo, these couple teams really need some solid results. Haas actually getting the win last week with OP Magic taking that W, getting the weekend sweep, really, qualified on pole. And then eventually went on to win the race by a country mile, so good stuff from him. Maybe a name to keep an eye on, as we see 8 Altonians on the time lap. He's going to make his way through the DRS section here. Ooh, he's actually let off for some reason there. He's going a little bit slower than he was. Interesting. So just over 10 and a half minutes to go, or just under 10 and a half minutes to go left in this qualifying session. Hash 9211 taking provisional pole at the moment. He's put a half-second gap back on Sadistic King in second. Behind him, Heavy S, then Ray 46, Domingos, 8 Tony, and JC Blackley. Kate Thomas back there in 8th, K-Dog K in 9th, Smith Call in 10th, and Possible Bacon in 11th, Saffron in 12th, Capitano 13th, Moneymap 14th, and that is the end of the people who have made a timed lap so far. I just see Sadistic talking about Sector 1 in the chat. Well, Sector 1 is pretty hard to take because you want to... There's a lot of ways to take this sector, like, pretty fast, but I think the biggest problem is, you know, right now, you don't want to lose any good runs, you know, especially, you know, the tire compounds get really worn out, especially after, you know, even 1 or 2 laps of this track, so it's really crucial that you get the laps done correctly and precisely the first try, and then after that, you can start to worry about speed if you'd like to, but, Sadistic has put forward a pretty solid lap so far, held provisional pole for quite a little bit there. Hash 9211 taking it so far. I'm seeing Crash has thrown in a Bob Ross emote in the chat. Sick. So Hash 9211 currently on provisional pole on his outlap. I believe that is a Ferrari in front of him. Is that a Ferrari? Well, it's either Ferrari or an Alpha, but now he's got Hash has a lot of clean track ahead of him now. This should be a really solid lap at the moment, so let's ride along with him for this lap. As someone has gone off, possibly, over there in Sector 2? Can't really tell. Someone is very off the pace there, maybe just trying to get out of the wet. But so let's see if Hash 9211 can extend his lead at the top. Ooh, maybe got a little bit loose there on exit 4. I don't know how much traction control he's using, but there was definitely a little bit of slip. So far having a very solid first lap. makes his way down the DRS section. See how he handles this entry into 13. Takes it pretty good, maybe went a little bit wider than he may possibly wanted to, though he set a purple sector 2. This corner here, I believe that's 15 and 16. You really can't take up too much curb on 15 as he gets a big wiggle on exit of 16 there. But you take up too much curb in 15, you could really go around. So that's something we're going to be looking out for there. That's a mistake that I personally make all the time. Hash 9211 comes across the line. Doesn't improve on his time, or does he? Oh yeah, that is the fastest lap, I'll tell you what. So he's still on provisional pole. Heavy S has actually moved up in a second. A good qualifying showing from him so far. He is on a timed lap as it seems. As you saw, he's just gotten a big wiggle out of 5. See how his lap stacks up. Oh, and his time has just been deleted on exit of 10. I think he was actually having a pretty solid lap going for him as well, and he's just gone off track on exit of turn 10, so that's a little bit unfortunate for him. But currently third, Capitano has actually overtaken him for the second spot so far, with just under 6 minutes to go. GDB, one of the newer recruits into the Red Bull camp. Only his, I believe this is third week, something like that. Third or fourth. Invalidating laps is Nicky's calling card. Well, I tell you what, and I mean, I'm not too surprised that we're seeing that, especially, this is a really tough track. This track actually reminds me a lot like Canada. It's one of those, hybrid circuits, not a lot of elevation change, and a lot of places to go off and get your lap time deleted, as GDB, he's going to be entering the pits this time, isn't he? Thought he was having a good lap, but into the pits he goes. So Sadistic King, our points leader, currently sitting 5th as he starts another timed lap, around turn 3. He's handled it well. He's going to get a good entrance into 4. Sadistic King, I feel like, is maybe just taking his laps a little conservative at the moment, not pushing the limits as much as he could be. He's not in low fuel mode, is he? He might be. I think Sadistic may have actually just entered low fuel mode. He's, the thing is the telemetry is blinking, and he's not getting above 4th gear. I think he's actually just lost his fuel tank. No wonder why it didn't look like he was pushing the limits. He's out of gas. Right, so under 5 minutes to go now. Actually, only 4 minutes to go now. So Heavy S is the only driver in the top 3 to be on a timed lap, though he's got his lap time deleted. He's actually gone off circuit for some reason. Oh, he's also low on gas. Goodness me, surely this isn't Formula 2, the F2 races. That would be a mess. As Detail goes by, Detail has yet to make a timed lap, but here he comes to the line this time. And he's going to move himself up to 8th. That's a solid first lap there from Detail. Just under a second off the pace at the moment. Actually put in a pretty solid lap, I will say. Surely Detail's not out of gas as well. As, who's going to be coming out on track now? That is a Ferrari, I believe, of Money Matt could be coming out. And Hammer Hash. So Heavy S making another return to the track. Under 3 minutes to go now. Ray 46 on track on a timed lap as he heads into 4. Takes the exit of 4 just a little bit wide. That's not necessarily a problem. He set a fastest sector 1 so far, and he's going to go really wide on exit of 5, and that is going to somehow not delete his lap time. As Impossible Bacon in the Mercedes, setting the fastest lap. not too far ahead of Hash 9211, and Hash is on his outlap at the moment, so he'll have another crack at getting back on pole. Though Impossible Bacon, I mean, we've seen a big upturn in the Mercedes garage recently. We saw, I believe it was Detail, who made a podium not too long ago. And by not too long ago, I'm pretty sure it was last week, but pretty solid showing so far from the Mercedes garage. It's unfortunate we're nearing the end of the season, because honestly, with the performance these guys are putting together right now, finally they're starting to get some luck thrown their way, and they're actually doing some pretty good things out there on track. Actually, look at the results. Was it last week? It was last week. Yeah, he got third last week. That is the first podium of the year for Mercedes. Speaking of Detail, he's out of the session. So only 4 races to go after this race. We've got the United States Grand Prix on the 25th, a very tough and challenging track that one is. After that, we head to Silverstone, a race that I'm actually quite excited for personally. Then we off to Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi for the season finale on April 15th. So less than a minute to go now in the qualifying session. Here is Hash 9211 making his way onto his time lap. Now this is probably going to be his last crack at getting back on provisional pole as he heads around turn 3. So the Williams drivers of Sadistic King and Saffron City, I mean, they need a big week here if they want to get back on top of the constructor standings. And right now it's going to be pretty difficult with them starting 10th and 8th and 10th respectively. I know these drivers both have bags of talent, but you never know what can happen, especially here at Russia. So they are going to have to, their work is cut out for them at the moment, unless they can put together a couple good laps, which Sadistic is on a timed lap right now. And here goes Hash down the DRS section into turns 12 and 13. Ooh, didn't get the best exit there, and I think Cash has actually completely toasted his lap there. That is unfortunate, because he was having a really solid lap going for him as well. And then just exiting 13 and then into 14, that was a pretty big struggle there. But Impossible Bacon so far on provisional pole, though Hash is going to still give it a go here as he rounds 17 and 18. A little bit of tire wiggle off the corner, so far Impossible Bacon has provisional pole. As we see here, Heavy S is going to get another attempt at a timed lap. Looks like the Sadistic King has fallen down to 9th at the moment. Who's this coming to the line? That's going to be JC. JC is going to stay 6th. Sadistic King, here he comes through Sector 3, through 15 and 16. Into 18, and Sadistic's going to jump up to 3rd. What a run from him! That is a pretty solid way to end off the qualifying session. Goes from 9th to 3rd with that lap, so that is a really solid result that Sadistic will be happy with. Maybe not as happy as he'd like to be. I bet he'd be a lot more happy if he was on pole. However, we all know Sadistic can and does make significant moves off the start, as we see Ray is out of fuel. So down the grid we go. So Cake is going to be coming in. So Cake Thomas sitting 14th right now. And then Sweet hasn't even made it. Well, he did make a time lap. He's about 3.5 seconds behind. So the AlphaTauri team, who have been providing such great runs of form lately, are in a very, very tough position here. And I believe that will conclude our qualifying session. So Impossible Bacon in the Mercedes getting pole. Unless Detail's robot can come across the line. So really interesting and exciting qualifying session there. Impossible Bacon taking the pole. So our final qualifying results goes Impossible Bacon in the Mercedes, starting on the pole, Hash 9211 in second, Sadistic King third, Capitano in fourth, Heavy S fifth, Smith Pell sixth, JC in seventh, Ray in eighth, GDB in ninth, 10th is Domingos, 11th is Saffron, who I'm sure was hoping for a much better session than that. He starts 11th, Best Ponds in 12th, 13th Detail, 14th Cake Thomas, 15th is K-Dog, 16th is Spool and Dub, 17th is Super Nunes, 18th is Adel Tony, and 19th Money Matt. And then rounding out the field, starting in 20th is Swee. So I guess the biggest takeaway here is that AlphaTauri team is going to have a lot of work to do. They are not far off the top three at the moment as it stands, so they're going to have their work cut out for them. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting race for sure. And yes, Pork, I agree, D2 is going to be equally as tough for next season. I will say, I think the best part about sticking around Div 2 is just seeing all the talent that we get thrown up into Div 1, you know, with the likes of Scavney, Sadistic King, who's probably going to be going up next season, but we don't know that yet. Cake Thomas, who's going to be going up there next week. JC, who technically already is. Jinna to Win It came through Div 2 for a little bit, put on a great run of form. So he's up there in Div 1 now. I mean, I tell you what, this division's really the proving ground for this Midwest F1 league. I mean, Div 3 and 4 I haven't really seen too much of, though we do have a lot of talent coming out of those divisions as well. But Div 2 right now, I mean, a lot of the drivers that you're seeing up in Div 1, they're coming from Div 2, and they're making this division really, really exciting. So I highly encourage you guys each and every week to go check out the Div 2 races, not just because I want you to. And Capitano has hit the X button very early there, if I say so myself. As I suppose we'll be starting in 10 seconds, though we did have Capitano hit that X button very, very early, so... Right, so we'll be starting our formation lap here, so, I mean, 27-lap race. It's going to be a pretty interesting race to watch. Let's see if Impossible Bacon can hold on to a little bit of luck that he's had and hold his position on the start, but he does have Hash 9211, who is on the rise in this division as of recently, and Sadistic King, our current points leader, right behind him. So this is going to be quite the task for Impossible Bacon. So if you're on the one-stop strategy, you're going to be pitting about lap 10 to 14 for those medium tires, and then about the same for the hard compound as well. Though I'm assuming with the safety car, we're going to be seeing maybe more than one or two, maybe more than one stop here. So this is going to be a completely, totally indifferent race. Let's put the change elementaries for that. So as Impossible Bacon leads the field into Sector 2. So me personally, I mean, I'm going to be looking at these two AlphaTauri drivers, primarily Cake Thomas. He's starting 14th, and Cake has been one of those drivers that we've been seeing on the podium week in and week out for a couple weeks now. So he's going to have his work cut out for him. If we go up the field just for the Williams team, the Williams need a couple good results here. They're within 10 points of first place in the constructors standings. So I think both Williams drivers are really going to need a solid week today. His teammate Sadistic King starting up in third, not exactly what he prefers. I'm sure he prefers being on the front row, but I think he'll take a third right now. Heavy S up there in fifth with the BWT Racing Point team, one of the better qualifying results for that Racing Point team of the season so far. So we'll be looking to see what he can do on this first lap. JC Blackley, our I guess Div 1 driver that has jumped down for this race as kind of a send-off. We'll see what he can do. Chat, go ahead and make your predictions now. I'm actually interested to see. I actually have really no idea. This is pretty much anyone's race to take, so go ahead and make your predictions in the chat. as we are just about ready to start here. Seaberry saying hash. Going with the, I don't want to say safe bet, but surely in the picture. Here we go here. Lights are coming on. We've got 5 lights. Lights out, and away we go here at the Sochi Ultradome here in Russia. Now, Impossible actually got a really solid start. Behind him, Hash 9211 got a good start as well. Sadistic, oh, it's Sadistic's in the wall early. Carnage everywhere, and people have already... Goodness me, what kind of melee is this? Detail gone. Heavy S gone. Adaltonian, Sadistic King, our points leader, out of the race already. Best Pawns is out, and if only a virtual safety car, we've lost... We've lost 5 drivers on the first lap, and it's only a VSC. Well, that... Well, Sadistic actually was kind of right about the thing with turn 1. I thought he was talking about turn 2, that sharp right-hander. No, it actually ended up being just out of turn 1. Wow. That... I don't even know what to say. That is, I mean, recently these guys, in recent weeks, we've been seeing, a fair 10 laps before a safety car happens. That was just absolute mayhem. So JC's picked up a time penalty, as we're getting back under racing here. As we see here, a good battle for the lead. Hash beating him into the corner for now. I think Impossible's going to have the inside. Actually, maybe shoved Hash off the track a little bit. Hash is going to keep the inside, though, and he's going to keep that position. So a solid move from Hash to take the lead, though. Impossible Bacon is not done yet, as I think we just had a McLaren get a little bit squirrely behind him. That was either Domingos or Smith Bell. The McLaren team doing a solid job being 5th and 4th at the moment. So Hash 9211 going to lead the first lap here, followed by Impossible Bacon, El Capitano, and then Smith Pell, and then the order is just deciding to mess up. So, yeah, solid. We do have... I'm not really sure what's happened here. So we've got K-Dog and then a couple of drivers behind her. I'm not really sure what's caused this separation in drivers, possibly under the VSC. I'm not completely sure what's happened there. But Hash 9211 in the lead, although it says at the moment he says he's in 11th, but I know that's not true. Another incident in Sector 1. Who would that be? That is, I believe that was JC. We've seen him gone off track a little bit. Is he missing any front wing? Yeah, he's missing the end plate on his right side, and he's going to go wide out of the corner again. Yeah, so JC, it would appear, does have that front wing damage. JC's one of those drivers that will kind of soldier on with that wing damage until it gets to be, something where he can't cope with anymore, though I'm not sure he has an option but to box here, so we're going to be looking at that for sure. So look at the, so him and Ray both have 5-second penalties, so I'm assuming a lot of the drivers who have pits already, and that would be, look at stops, yeah, well, GDB's the only one to have made a stop so far. I'm not really sure why it says it's in front. I don't know why the leaderboard does this to us. I wish I could tell you. There we go, finally. Back to business. Impossible Bacon might be under pressure from Capitano very shortly. Capitano, we've seen him a couple times so far. He's starting to become something really special. We haven't seen too much of him just yet, but I think the more we do see him, the more he is going to blossom into a league leader here, as he's found himself in 3rd place at the moment. So Smith Pell starting to put a little bit of gap on his McLaren teammate. Look at the position change so far. The biggest mover's got to be Money Matt and Swede, both picking up 8 spots respectively on the start. And as the train of drivers heads into Sector 2 now, Impossible Bacon still within half a second. Well, it looks like Hash may have actually gotten a little bit wide there. He's lost a little bit of ground, now within half a second as they head through 10. And Impossible is going to have the DRS this time by. Can he make a move? Now, I don't think Impossible is going to risk making a move here into turn 13, but you never know. He's going to wait for Hash to maybe maybe get a little bit of a mistake on his exit. Now, Hash hasn't been as confident as he could be on exits of turn 13, on entrance as well. We've seen him get a little bit squirrely there, and Impossible Bacon losing the rear of the car there for just a second, but holding on to it, and Hash did the same as well. I think we're seeing a couple position changes throughout the field at the moment. There's a couple drivers with penalties. That'd be Ray 46, Saffron, and then JC. As Kate Thomas going into the pits at the moment. What do we have here? What kind of... Is he replacing a front wing? I can't get the camera to change. And yeah, Kate Thomas is going to be replacing that front wing. As Capitano really going to be trying to chase down Impossible Bacon here, possibly within this next DRS section, and a couple drivers. Capitano getting really wide there on exit of 4. And I do feel bad for you, Sadistic. I mean, you were in a good spot as well. I'm not really sure how you got tangled up in that. You were about 4 wide there, going through that straight. That was just an unbelievably, ridiculously unlucky accident. So that is very unfortunate for our points leader. Impossible Bacon still holding it pretty close to Hash. He's kept it within half a second now for a few laps. Any other close battles going on? Well, this might be a 3-car battle here for the lead very shortly. Capitano holding on. Oh, and Impossible Bacon gets into the rear end of Hash, and Impossible Bacon now has front wing damage. I'm not really sure what's happened there to cause that. I'm not sure if he just late braked or whatever, but Capitano possibly going to be taking this second position as they are side by side out of turn 16, and yeah, it is going to be Capitano holding on to the position for now as Impossible goes down into the pits. Very unfortunate there. I'm not really sure if he just didn't get the braking zone correctly or what, but that was quite the impact there. One I didn't expect. I love how this thing on Twitch says new poll over under on 2.5 more DNFs. Well, we had 5 in out of the first corner, so I think that poll is probably not worth it anymore. So as we move down the field, K-Dog might be making a move on JC here very shortly. I don't know if JC ever came in for that front wing, and I don't think he did, because he is still going very wide at the moment as he heads down. No, so my prediction was correct. JC has not came in to repair that front wing, nor did I really expect him to. But, gambling time. No, I can't do that anymore. We see JC kind of struggling to keep this car on the track at the moment. As you saw, he does have that front wing damage, but I don't think JC's in the position right now where he wants to give up that spot. As we see Sweet possibly making a move here for 8th. Not yet. And we've been watching Sweet so far this season. He's really one of those more patient drivers that waits for his opportunity, doesn't do any ridiculous maneuvers to try to get positions, as we've seen some drivers do. And that's one of the reasons he's got, I think Swede has the fewest DNFs out of any driver this season. And he's gotten really loose, actually, coming out of 18. But Swede's been one of those drivers where it's like he's been really, really patient, almost to the point where you're like, oh, goodness me, just make a move already. But it's paid off for him. He got his podium at Baku, as Ray 46 picks up a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, Sweet picked up his podium at Baku. Very, very solid from him there. AlphaTauri last week in Spain was the only team, I believe, in the top 5 in constructors that actually had both drivers finish top 10. And it's going to be another one of those oddball races again today, as I believe that's GDB who's gone off on exit of 16. And he is missing quite a hefty bit of his front wing there. And he will be immediately going to pit. 19-year-olds can play bingo, that's it. No, I mean, here in New Hampshire where I'm from, I think it's still 18, so... DraftKings. And Money Matt picking up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. So Hash9211 putting now 3 seconds of gap behind Capitano in second. As we have Sui there amongst the midfield, finally getting that move done on K-Dog as they exit the DRS section. Listen to me. This is why you don't bet on the Islanders when their captain gets injured. I'm joking. No, that was actually the reason why. So yeah, no, I've actually stopped doing that now. But anyways, enough about that. So Sui's in an interesting position here. However, 5 DNFs in one corner. I mean, we saw the top 4 or 5 go 3 wide as Sui's going to get this move done on JC going into 2. I'm not sure how this is going to play out because JC's got mad understeer at the moment. He actually holds on to that position quite nicely. Is he going to be able to do it again? Now, this is a close battle here for the 7th spot, and Sui, again, playing it very cautiously. Side by side as they exit 5. Side by side again. This is quite the battle we'll be watching here as Saffron City picks up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. And I think finally, K-Dog might be entering this battle. It's going to be a 3-car battle here for the 7th spot. I tell you what, JC's been doing an excellent job at keeping the position up until now. With the lack of downforce as well. Now, K-Dog, is she going to make the move to the left-hand side as they go down the DRS session? She might be able to make it. It's going to be close. Oh, and I think Sui's actually going to hold on to the position for now. No, K-Dog still got the line into the corner, and I think Sui's going to come away with it, but I think JC may have made contact on exit of turn 14, so K-Dog actually losing the spot to Super Ninus there as well, and then Super Ninus getting really loose right there. Wow, K-Dog nearly made a very, very impressive move, getting around JC, and then I think just getting a little tap from behind was enough to put her to the inside wall. And does she have front wing damage? I'm not really sure if she does, and the answer is no, but we definitely saw someone hit the wall. We heard the sound effect that was thrown in. Super Nina still trying to look to get around JC Blackley. I tell you what, JC's done some excellent driving and kept it pretty solidly clean despite having the understeer problems as well with only one end plate on his front wing. Super Nina's getting really loose there, and by loose I mean I can't tell because there's just a little bit of lag. Let's ride along with K-Dog this time by yet again, see if she can make a move in the DRS section. Now here comes Super Ninus to the left side of JC. JC's going to try to throw the block, actually. Out of turn 10 they go into the DRS section. JC is going to have to put in some work here to avoid losing the spot. Super Ninus trying to go around the right-hand side. He's going to get the line into the corner. See if K-Dog can pull off the overtake as well. Side by side they go. Super Ninus actually cutting a little bit of the corner there. I'm surprised he didn't get back for track limits, as that looked to be a lot more severe of a thing as well. And K-Dog's just plowed into the rear end of JC Blackley. Now she's lost her end plates on the right-hand side. And I believe Sweet taking over that 6th spot as Capitano coming into the pits. So if we look at who is taking the stops currently, Capitano leaving right now. So we are closing in on that pit window, so you can expect to see some stops within these next 2 laps. So I believe Super Ninus is going to get around JC there, as it says. The Saffron trying to close the gap onto Domingos, possibly within this next DRS section as they head through 7, 8, and 9. Domingos providing a very strong showing for the McLaren team at the moment. And I don't think he's going to get the DRS this time by, and Domingos had a big lockup going into 13. Maybe lost a little bit of ground there. Not enough to be concerning though. K-Dog's got the DRS on JC. Is she going to try a move now? No, she's going to wait patiently for her attempt at getting around JC. This battle for 8th, I mean, both these drivers having understeer problems. It's going to be interesting to watch. Now, knowing JC and knowing the stuff that he normally does, when he pits, he might not actually go in and get that front wing replaced, and that's going to be something to watch as K-Dog making her stop. Saffron still trying to close the gap on Domingos. Through the field we go. Spool and Dub might be trying to make the move around JC very shortly. GDV picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Where does that put him? Well, that's only 3 seconds, though. I think he came in to take a 5-second penalty earlier, so I'm not sure about that. But Spool now trying to make the move on JC within this next DRS section as they head through 8, 9, and 10. And JC's going to get super wide on exit of, well, in between 8 and 9. And Swoolin's going to try the move around the left-hand side going into 10, and I believe he's also going to get the DRS, and he will. Nicely done from Spool and Dub to put him into 8th. And you can tell JC's really struggling with the understeer on his car. So Domingo's coming in for his stop now. Saffron taking over the third position, though he does have 6 seconds of penalties. Behind him, Ray 46, currently on 8 seconds of penalties. So pretty much as we predicted, a very penalty-heavy race so far. Possible Bacon. Could he possibly try to make the move on Money Matt for 10th as they head into the DRS section? Oh, and Domingos is going to be racing on exit here. A 3-car battle now. Oh, this is going to be interesting. How's this going to play out? Domingos wants that line into the corner, really just kind of shoving Impossible Bacon off the track, though there was a lot of room to be left for Bacon. So Domingos played his pit strategy right, gaining the 10th position. So now Sweet possibly trying to make the move on Ray 46 to get into 4th place. Sweet has undoubtedly had the best day so far, as he's made up 15 spots since the initial start. He's going to get that overtake. Nicely done. Ray 46 has been looking strong as well, and Hash 9211, our leader, a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Oh, goodness me, now that changes this race entirely. Wow. Who would have thought? There's lots of cars coming into the pits now, so our leader at the moment, I believe, is going to be Sui, and yes it is, though he still needs to make that stop, and I believe he's going to be coming in this lap. So Sui taking the lead, and Money Matt's going to pick up a 5-second for speeding into the pit lane. A couple drivers possibly electing to take their penalties into the pits, I think, if there was anybody with 5 seconds that could. And to answer your question, the only driver right now, so Sadistic King has this championship at the moment. I don't want to say on lock because it's not mathematically confirmed, but he's got a pretty solid gap. The next active driver in the field behind him is Cake Thomas, though Cake is going to be moving up to Div 1 the week after. So if we actually look at the driver standings at the moment, the only other driver behind Sadistic King who's going to be active is actually Smith Pell at 112. So he's got a pretty hefty gap. I mean, Sadistic King sits at 188 before this race. Smith Pell currently at 112 prior to the results, and that is going to be the next closest active driver on the list after Cake Thomas moves up. Couple tough weeks for the Williams team as of recently. Well, I tell you what, this has been a very, very exciting championship battle to watch, especially the constructor standings. It's a bit unfortunate, a lot of these drivers getting moved around in the middle of the season, as we would have seen a very, very solid points battle for the Drivers' Championship as well. But this Constructors' Championship has really been something to watch so far. So that's been really fun. As I believe Capitano possibly making the spot over Spool and Dub here. As they go through 3 now, side by side, as they're going to be entering 4. Capitano's not going to have the best line. He's going to get in behind Spool and Dub, so Spool and making that position work. I believe he actually lost the position and then gained it back, and then here we go again. Now entering 5. Side by side they go. It's going to be nicely clean racing there, and this is still a solid battle for this 3rd spot. Now heading into... oh goodness, I lost my track map. Now heading into 7. Capitano getting the spot. Smith-Pell back in 5th. He's got a little bit of ground to make up at the moment to get to this battle for the podium positions, but he's not out of the woods yet. So only 2 drivers in the field have yet to stop. That is Sui in the lead, and then Spool and Dub back there in 4th. I just want to look at the penalties for a second. So Hash 9211 has a 5 seconds. Capitano's got 3 seconds, and Spoolin's got 3 seconds as well. Saffron back in 8th and 6th. 3 for Cake Thomas, 3 for Ray, 3 for JC, and then 11 for Matt. Bit of yellow flag over in Sector 1. GDB has just decided to retire from the session, though he's done so in the pit lane. So that makes 6 retirements in this race. Russia provides better racing in the virtual world. Oh, K-Dog. What's happened to K-Dog? Oh, we've got a 2-car incident here. Now K-Dog and Ray have gone off, and there is a virtual safety car, and I believe K-Dog has completely toasted the right side of her car, and she is out of the session. 7 DNFs now. Oh, and what's this? Money Matt has just turned around Ray under the virtual safety car. Matt is up to 21 seconds. Ray at 18. K-Dog has left the session. Possibly another 2 DNFs right here. Money Matt's at 21 seconds. I believe another penalty for Matt, and he is disqualified. Wow. Ray's retired from the session. We are down to 12. And so Matt taking off some of his penalties here is smart. Impossible Bacon's just picked up 3 seconds. So K-Dog and Ray had something happened. Because I remember they were off and they caused the virtual safety car. They were off in turn 14, and then Matt was there for some reason. I'm not really sure how he was entangled in this whole ordeal, but then he just turns around Ray under the virtual safety car, and we saw that as well, as he's just completely ran into the back of him. We've got that on stream as well, so that is very controversial stuff coming here. I'm actually quite upset this isn't a good of a race as we possibly could have had. Lots of DNFs so far. This is not normally the racing that we have. As Ray says he spun and tried to reverse out of the way, so has he just, so I'm assuming from what he said there, he's just kind of collected K-Dog by accident. Unfortunate stuff there. That is not what we like to see. As both of them were actually having pretty decently solid races as well. I remember Ray was having a really solid race. K-Dog, she was putting in some moves as well. Really upset that this isn't the race I was hoping it was. So Hash is going to rear end to Jordan. I don't know. Is he? So Swee's still in the lead. Though him and Spoolin still need to stop. What tires does Sui have fitted at the moment? So he's got 14 lap old medium tires, so his strategy was certainly to start on the mediums and then go back down to the soft. So, I mean, if he makes his strategy pay off well, this could be really solid. Smith Pell has found himself within a second on Spoolman for fourth. Currently the closest battle on field as they head on to lap 16 themselves. Gonna have the DRS this time by. See what Spoolman can do to try to manage, and it looks like Smith's just gonna get this overtake. Nicely done, nice and easy, into turn 2. So Swee's still in the lead. Hash 10 seconds back on Sui, though essentially 15 if you take into account the penalties. Man, unfortunate stuff here. I mean, that was... we were seeing a lot of solid overtakes there, lots of good battles, and then we've lost a lot. 8 drivers DNFing. This, some people are saying, let's see, so I see a reference to Spa Season 1, and I see a reference to Spa 1998. This is actually kind of reminding me of Mugello this season, as we had a lot of stuff happening at the Mugello race. Lots of overtakes there. So Hash is actually starting to make up some ground here, and that'd be why Sui finally entering the pits, though he is going to put on the soft tires, try to make those last 10 laps. Actually, solid strategic from Sui. Might actually pay off quite nicely from him, though he's going to have a lot of ground to make up now. Seaberry saying, can't wait to see some onboards from the start in the stewards report. Oh yeah, I tell you what, I don't doubt it. So Smith Pell is kind of in an interesting position here. He's got 3 seconds to make up on Hash to get within that 5-second window to kind of take over the lead here. They're on the same age tires, 4-lap-old mediums. Possible Bacon on the hards. He's found himself up in the 5th. So Sui's still by far the biggest mover in this race, making up 16 spots since the initial start. He started all the way in the back, and I tell you what, that may have actually been the smart thing to do, as we saw in the first lap. Sui actually got away with that one nicely, hasn't he? Stewart report's about to be a crap show. I couldn't agree more. I'm actually very excited to see that Discord channel later on. Can we look at the penalties, please? Yep. So only 4 drivers in the field at the moment don't have sitting penalty on them. Unfortunate there now. Is Capitano possibly going to make a move on Kate Thomas here as they go into the corner? Oh, Capitano's on the soft tires as well. And yes, he is going to take that overtake despite taking up a little bit of the curb going into 13. But nicely done move with that. Now Sui on this soft compound. He's got Domingos in his sights. He's on the soft tires. According to the Racing Ginger, Div 3's had a few DNFs as well. So Sui's in an interesting position here. It doesn't look as if Smith Pell is making up any ground on Hash at the moment. He's been very stagnant on the times so far, so we'll have to see how he can manage. I'm actually kind of surprised neither of those 2 accidents resulted in a full safety car. I'm actually really, really surprised at that. 2 virtual safety cars, though. What? Just under 10 laps to go in this race, anything can happen. I don't doubt that we could have another VSC or even full safety car. As Sui, can he make this move around the left-hand side going into turn 10? Answer's going to be no for now, though he does have the DRS going down the straight. The move for 3rd, can he pull it off? And the answer is most likely going to be yes. Side by side they go. And Sui's going to have the much better line with Domingos getting overtaken there with just enough room to spare. So Sui gets the very clean overtake going into the corner. Saffron City and the Williams picked up another 3 seconds. That puts him at 9. Smith Pell still not really putting the hammer down just yet. A lot of ground left to make up on Ash. As Domingo is going to get the DRS this time by. And the answer is going to be no. Capitano setting the fastest lap of the race so far in the Renault. Capitano's had a interesting race so far. He's actually been looking really promising for a little while there, and then I think he had a bit of wing damage that sent him back down to 8, so kind of unfortunate for him, as he was on tap to have a really promising day. So don't look now, but Sui is really chipping away at that gap up to Smith Pell. It was 6 or 7 seconds ago. 6 or 7 seconds, less than 2 laps ago. It's now down to within 4.5. Sui on these fresher, soft compound, only a lap old. Capitano going to be making a move on Super Ninas here very shortly. His teammate in the Renault. On the right-hand side he goes. Is he going to try? No, he's going to keep it conservative for now, and I think Ninas is just going to let him have that position. So Capitano, Sui, and Spoondub all on lap-old soft tires, so possibly some shuffling about the pack here shortly, as Spoondub might be making a move on Keg Thomas shortly. And at the top end of the field, Hash 9211 extending that lead even further now to 9 seconds on Smith Pell. Here goes Spoolin around the left-hand side. Nicely done, clean overtake on Cake. Cake on 15-lap-old hard tires. I don't know if he's trying to stretch to the end. Some of these drivers on this hard compound, including Possible Bacon and Cake Thomas, that was a interesting strategy call for them. Doesn't look to be working at the moment. Couple reports in already, says Seabury. I don't doubt it. Not at all. Sui now is kind of just staying stagnant now, just a little bit. That gap has been hanging around 4.5 seconds for a couple laps now. Move back at the penalties. Yeah, so Ash still has the 5 seconds of penalties. Now Ash's goal here probably just going to be keeping it clean to the end of the race. Not to pick up any more penalties. But for right now, I mean, Hash has put on a dominant performance so far. Soft to hard must have been unplanned stops. Well, the thing said it was kind of the... I mean, the alternate strategy was to go onto the hards at the same time as the mediums. At least that's what the screen says. I know that's probably not accurate because that lies to us all the time. But yeah, I think you could be right there. I'm not sure if those were planned stops or not. So Sui has now whittled that gap down to 4 seconds now. So these past couple weeks, I've noticed a trend in Sui. He's kind of been qualifying towards the tail end of the grid, but then I think the rest of the field just kind of doing the work for him, as he's gotten a solid result last week at Barcelona, and then a solid result this week in the making at the moment, unless something catastrophic happens, of course. Remember to stick around to the end of this race, because we do have a huge announcement to make, brought to you by yours truly. Super excited to have the honor and privilege to make this announcement. So Sui, that gap now down to 3.5 seconds. It was 4.5 less than a lap ago. But problem is that I'm not sure he's going to have enough time to make up any more ground on Ash. I mean, I could see him possibly getting the overtake on Sui, but on Smith Pell, I'm not sure if he can make up enough ground to get within 5 seconds of Ash by the end of the race. He's going to have to really push the pace here. I will say, though, he is doing an excellent job right now at keeping this race interesting, that's for sure, as Spoolendub might have the DRS on Super Linus this time by. So that McLaren team at the moment, being the biggest winners of the day, as Capitano picks up another 3 seconds, that puts him at 6. Sweet has now broken that 3-second mark up in third. Spool and Super Nana still battling for the 8th position here, as they now head into Sector 2. Impossible Bacon just picked up 3 seconds. Sweet now edging ever so closer to Smith Pell up there, and Superman's actually just picked up 3 seconds of time penalty. So now that whittles it down to 3 drivers that have kept it clean so far. But here's Spoolendub on the right-hand side. Is he going to get the good line of the corner? He's actually going to... That was a very risky overtake, I'd say, actually, going into the braking zone. But he's come out on top, so solid move there from Spoolendub. Actually, very well done. Swede now within 2 seconds. Trying to get around Money Matt here as they head into 2. Swede might be making this overtake here very shortly. As we look back, that gap to Spoolendub now outside of 1 second as Money Matt picks up 3 seconds. So fastest Sector 1 so far for Sweet. Now within a second as they head into Sector 2. Through 6, 7, 8, and 9. That gap to Smith Pell back there in second. Now up to nearly 10 seconds. There it goes. Now just broken. The DRS for Sweet this time by. This is for second. As they head down the quote-unquote straight going into 12. And reports that K-Dog's POV from the start, a mess. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I'll have to look at that myself. That ought to be interesting. I thought looking back on it from the leader was interesting to see 4 or 5 cars just get absolutely destroyed for some reason. Right, so Swee's going to have to make this overtake here very shortly. He's within that he's within nearly half a second now on Smith Pell. He's going to really need to make this overtake if he wants the spot. If we look at how old his tires are on, yeah, he's on 6-lap old soft tires. So I mean, his softs are starting to get to the end of their lifespan. Really, he's going to need to make this move very shortly. I think Smith Pell's 11-lap old mediums. I mean, they can last roughly, if the strategy said box at 10 to get to 27, then we can assume that the mediums can last, you know, about 17 laps on the tires, probably more, but never know. So I think the longevity possibly of Smith Pell's tires may be coming into account here, as Sweet has still yet to find his way around. But as we look back further, Capitano making the move on Saffron City. Side by side they go into turn 7. Oh, and I think they may have actually made contact there. If I can look back at the replay, still side by side. The phone is a little bit more delayed, so I'll be able to see this for sure. Yeah, so maybe just a little bit of contact there between Capitano and Saffron. It looks pretty close. Sweet's still wanting to make this overtake. I know he's itching to do so. Smith Pell doing an excellent job of keeping enough room between him and Sweet to make this a competitive battle for the second spot. As we we look a little bit further back, Saffron. So Capitano's on those 6-lap-old softs. I mean, it's probably going to be a... I mean, you never know. I mean, Saffron might have a challenge for him as the softs get older, but I'm not really sure. As we see up here, though, I mean, Sui hasn't been able to get in a solid position to make this overtake yet. Saffron's just picked up a 3-second for multiple warnings, so that puts him at 12 seconds of penalty. Smith-Pell getting pretty wide there. I think maybe Sui could just be looking to wait for him to make a mistake and possibly pick up a time penalty, because Smith-Pell surely starting to lose grip in those tires at some points, very shortly. And you know the mediums can't grip the surface as well as the softs can, so it's very much a possibility. Money Matt's picked up 3 seconds. He's now sitting at 17. Let's see if Sui can make the overtake this time by. And he's going to try to take him around the right-hand side going into 13. And the answer is no for now, though we might have it around the right-hand side again, side by side now for the second spot, as they head into 15 and 16. And it looks like Sui's still trying to play this conservatively. Saying Sui's going to wait for DRS. Oh, we got a big wiggle there out of 18. That was tough. Saying Sui's going to wait for the DRS. He's had DRS for the past probably 5-6 laps now. Has yet to make that move. Is he going to get it this time by? I think he may have just waited a little bit too long, and Smith-Pell's going to hold it for now, though he does get a big lock-up. Side by side now through 3. I mean, this could be something here. Side by side they go. Nice big gap here. Smith-Pell not dealing with understeer or anything. Actually, possibly maybe a little bit of oversteer there. They're still side by side. Nearly some contact there. Nice clean battle this is for second place. Kate Thomas picking up 3 seconds of time penalty. That puts him up to 6. And Sui still not yet getting the position. Very solid battle this is, though, for the second spot. One that's been going on for quite some time now. Only a couple laps to go. Stay tuned for the post-race interviews with the drivers, and then also be sure to stick around even after that so we can get our big announcement in. There we go. Now it's side by side. I think Sui might have the position this time by, though it's going to be close into the braking zone. I think Smith's actually maybe going a little bit wide there. No, so Smith has kept that position, but despite having the lockup, despite not getting the best line coming out of 13, he's actually kept that position really nicely. Don't look now, but Domingos is starting to close in that gap as Hash 9211 up there and first starting his final lap around the circuits. So here we go, lap 27. This is the battle to watch in the race so far. Domingos still kind of a little bit of ways back, about 2 seconds almost. Sui within 2/10 now. Still trying to play it nice and carefully through 2. Now into 3. Now this is where Sui can make this move. Side by side they go, and finally Sui may have actually made this move for good as they head into 4. Yeah, and it looks like he's got this one overtake wrapped up for now, though you never know. Impossible Bacon's just picked up 3 seconds for the vague title of multiple warnings. I assume that means track limits. You never know with these things. Puts him up to 9 seconds. So Smith's actually going to get the DRS this time by still. JC has just picked up 3 seconds for corner cutting. So a good battle going into the DRS section here. Oh, and Domingos is starting to get low on fuel. That meter's blinking in the bottom right. I mean, that could be something for sure. But Hash 9211 coming through turns 17 and 18. Hash 9211. Oh, goodness me. He's almost lost it coming out of the corner. 3 podiums in 3 weeks for Hash 9211. That is a really solid result for him. Second, and now finally his first place that he's been trying for so long. Sui gonna finally get that overtake on Smith-Pell and finish a second. Really solid race there. McLaren undoubtedly the biggest winners of this race, finishing 3rd and 4th. and they are probably going to stay top of the constructor standings after that. Absolutely amazing stuff there for the McLaren team. Brilliantly done. As we see Spool and Dub taking that 7th spot, Supernatus 8th, Saffron in 9th, Cake finishing all the way down in 10th, JC in 11th, and then Money Matt's going to be rounding up the field here in 12th. And Money Matt, what is going on here? What? Was they just playing a game of chicken? I'm not rightly sure what's actually just happened here. JC does a donut across the line. I don't know what to say. So the driver of the day, absolutely sweet. As we're going to get to our final results here, stick around. Stick around for the big announcement and for the post-race interviews, everyone. Very well done. Very solid race. What is this? It is. So Hash 9211 finally getting his victory. It was the, I'd say, controversial decision that he got it taken away from him at Zandvoort. Ended up finishing second to Cake Thomas with the penalty. Second in Barcelona. And now finally taking the win here in Russia. And we're going to be getting to those post-race interviews very shortly. Stay with us, folks. We are not done yet. So to round out the field, Hash 9211 finishing in first, Sui in second, Smith Pell third, Domingos in fourth, Bacon in fifth, Capitano finishing sixth, seventh is Spool and Dub, eighth is Super Nemus, ninth is Saffron, 10th is Cake Thomas, 11th is JC, 12th is Money Matt, and then 13th Ray, and then the rest of the field has just been DNFs, pretty much from Ray down, all DNFs. For K-Dog, GDB, Adeltonian, Detail, Sadistic King, Best Pawns, and Heavy S. Most of those coming within the first corner of the race. So stick around with us, folks. We're going to be getting these post-race interviews here very shortly. Don't go anywhere, as you're going to be invited to the party very shortly. So hopefully we get these guys in here very shortly. That's the plan. That's the plan. I did add the right people to the party, did I? Hope so. Yeah, looks like I did. Here we go. Now they're here. Now they're coming. Alright, so we got Smith Pell and then Sweet here, so this actually works out well because Hash finished on podium, so we're actually going to start, with you, Smith Pell. So I tell you what, a very interesting race there to say the least, but at the end of the day, McLaren coming out the biggest winners of the event. I mean, what was that race like for you, knowing all the chaos going on around you pretty much the whole race?
Well, funny enough, I didn't know much about what was going on behind me, right? So I saw the the turn one incident there right off the start, and after that, basically it was pretty smooth sailing in terms of incidents and whatnot in front of me. So aside from that, I thought it was a pretty good race. I thought pace was pretty good, and Sweet kind of came out of nowhere on the softs there. But aside from that, it was pretty good.
I tell you what, yeah, and you were one of the few drivers in the field, along with Tsui as well, who I believe didn't actually accumulate any penalties that race. If I am saying that correctly, I can't remember off the top of my head if you did or didn't. But so I mean, was that kind of your plan? Was your plan to not really, I don't want to say push the limits, but was that kind of the plan in the back of your head? Was just like, well, keep it clean, keep it penalty free?
Yeah, I mean every race I'd say that's top of mind. Here you have to take advantage of cutting some of the corners, but you got to be careful because it's quite easy to get penalties. So you just got to try to find that little bit of balance. I think there's times where I could be a little more aggressive in terms of taking more of the curbs, but you gotta. It's a fine line. You run into penalties, and then it doesn't matter how fast you are because you're given 3, 4, or 3, 6, 9 seconds away. So.
Absolutely, and so now McLaren, as I said before, having a really good stretch of races now on top of the constructor standings yet again after this, and only 4 more races to go after this: United States, Silverstone, Brazil, and then obviously Abu Dhabi at the end of it. I mean, do you think you can keep this good run of form going?
Hey, I hope so. I mean, it takes 2 cars. Obviously, coming third and fourth today is awesome. It's exactly what we needed. And then it's also just goes to show a good team put together. I think Monkey was involved for a long time there before leaving, then coming back, and then the work that was done before us with and I forget exactly who it was, but when I came into the team, we had quite a bit of points already, so that kind of helps.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me. Congrats on the podium. And then, Sweet, let's move on to you. I mean, that was another really solid race. Unfortunately, your teammate, Kate Thomas, didn't have necessarily the race that he would have wanted. However, you had a really solid display, so just take us through your race.
Um, well, in the quali, I had a controller issue. I had to swap out controllers, so that wasn't going too well. I kept messing up a few times. But in lap one, I honestly wasn't expecting what happened. I was actually pretty shocked, and it was pretty good, moving up position-wise for me. And I just tried to keep it consistent as far as not getting any penalties. I did get 2 warnings. Thankfully, no penalties. And I just try to keep a mindset as well because it was my last race with Cake as my teammate, and we were both gonna try to make it a good race as our last one. It was very unfortunate where he came out.
Yeah, well, it was pretty unfortunate to see for him. I mean, not the best quality result for both you guys. And I was going to ask you about the quality as well. That was pretty unfortunate. I had to swap out controllers. However, I will say that did play into your favor a lot as the Carnage happened ahead of you instead of with you in it. So I suppose that wasn't a
Sure.
total disappointment then. um,
Oh no, I was definitely surprised. Like, caught me by surprise, but in a good way for me. I'm glad it happened, but again, it's unfortunate at the same time for everybody else.
yeah, so I mean, AlphaTauri, these past couple weeks have really been the team to watch. You guys aren't that far off the top 3 in the constructor standing, so I'm going to ask you as well. Next couple races, the final 4: USA, Silverstone, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi to round out the field. Do you think you can crack the top 3, possibly make a move for the top?
I am confident. Try to do it. It's all about just keeping it consistent though. Abu Dhabi, I'm not sure. Honestly, that's one of the tracks I struggle with, but the rest I am pretty confident. And I feel if I don't get top 3, I for sure can do top 5.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for joining me. Congrats on the podium, and I think I'm going to invite Hash one more time to see if I can get him in here. But then we are going to move on to our big announcement at the end of it. So let me try to invite Hash one more time. Sweet, thank you for joining us. All right, just give me 1 second here, folks. So Hash is already invited to the party. So I guess we're just gonna sit here. I mean, chat. Tell me what you think about that race. JC, did you miss it? No, you didn't. We're just waiting for Hash to may or may not join this party. this is a good time burner to see if, hopefully the other divisions get done with their race as well. Hopefully. That is the plan. But yeah, chat, let me know what you think about that race. I mean, that was something I didn't expect was going to happen. JC saying that race was asterisk, 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 asterisk awful. I wish I raced Australia, is what Ray says. Calling it right now, Rich Energy sponsorship. I mean, JC, I was kind of hoping you'd have a better race. That was kind of your send-off, as well as Cake Thomas. Both of you getting sent off into Division 1. Not really the race that you'd want to go out on, but, I tell you what, it was a pleasure having you here in Div 2. You were really exciting to see, and I hope your success continues into Division 1. The McLarens murdered each other, and I got destroyed. Well, that's certainly true. So I'm going to give Hash maybe 2 more minutes, so 10:55 here on the East Coast. Pork Chop saying it is announcement time, so we will get into that. So if it is announcement time, I'm going to back out of this session so I can get myself situated. So folks, stay right here. We're just about ready to get this announcement underway. Hash doesn't do interviews, I believe. That's false, because I've interviewed him 2 times already, so... JC has a guess on the announcement. Go ahead, I'll let him. Never seen him do one. He has done them before. He has, with his first 2 races, he did them, was in the party. Unless his mic wasn't working, but he has been in the party for him. I have been invited him. It's going to be an F1 league on F1 2020 called MidWest F1 League. JC, that is an excellent, excellent guess. Right, so it is 10:54. I'm going to call it. It's 10:55 here. Oh, actually, as soon as I said that, it changed over. It is now 10:55 here on the East Coast. It is time for our announcement. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to deliver to you the schedule for Season 3 of the Midwest F1 League. I am actually really, really pumped to deliver this to you, boys. This is going to be something. I'm actually glad I get to do this, man. This is the first time me on the league Twitch for a division race that wasn't Friday or Wednesday's F2. So here we go. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this kind of an interesting way, actually. Don't mind me selecting cars. It doesn't mean anything. That really just means nothing. We'll choose Alex Albon. So here we go. So it is time to reveal the first race of the schedule. I'm going to kind of do this in random order so that it's a little more entertaining, a little more, I don't know, entertaining, something. Right, so our first race of Season 3, May 6th. The first race of the season on May 6th is going to be none other than the home race of the Midwest F1 League. We're going to Canada for the first race of the season. Very, very excited for that one. That's usually a cracker of a race as well, so I'm very, very hyped for that. And then our second race. One of the most anticipated races of the season. Been in the works a lot. The second race of the season, we will be going to none other than the Bahrain Short Circuit. Goodness me, this has been one that I have been anticipating and everyone else has been anticipating for so long. We are finally going to get to see it in action in Season 3. No more of this Sunday, fun race, test races. We're going for real. Bahrain Short, Race 2 of the season on May 13th. Next up, the third race of the season, and I've seen it in chat a couple times. We're going to Monaco for Week 3, a night race as well on May 20th. Monaco at night. That's going to be a solid race. Next up, the fourth week of the season, May 27th. Very, very challenging track that not a lot of drivers get right, but always provides very excellent racing. We are going to Silverstone for Week 4. Now week 5. Very, very tough start to the season for a lot of these drivers in a race that has proved to be very entertaining, very dramatic, and we saw it here today. It's going to be Russia for week 5. Now week 6. Man, this schedule does not let up on the tricky races, doesn't it? We are going to Spa-Francorchamps for week 6, and that's going to be on June 10th. The week after, June 17th, a track that provided a start to one of the pretty much a start to one of the best run of races that we've had, especially here in Division 1. A really good couple races, or in Division 2 and Division 1 for that matter. We are going to Baku for week 7. And then after that, June 24th, race number 8 of Season 3 is going to be at the Albert Park Circuit in Melbourne, Australia. Kind of weird to be throwing Australia into the middle of the season, but we're doing it. I actually quite like it there. That is June 24th for that one. Next up, July 1st. Now, this one is going to come as a surprise to you guys. It came as a surprise to me when I first read it. We are going to Brazil for week 9 on July 1st. And now July 8th. Another one of these tracks that gives a lot of people difficulty, but one that's provided some excellent racing. And if you remember F2, some fuel mileage races as well. We are going to the Hungaroring for week 10 on July 8th. Now on to week 11. A track that isn't loved by everybody, but one that provided some solid high-speed racing, one that I quite enjoy myself. We are going to the Circuit Paul Ricard in France for week 11, and that is on July 15th. JC saying, I was about to say Vietnam got scared. Yeah, well, that is true. I got scared myself. Both of those tracks providing some ridiculous fuel mileage races. But here we go. Week 12. July 22nd, we are going back to China for week 12 on July 22nd. And then there were 4, July 29th. A track that wasn't featured in any of the top 3 divisions seasons this year. We are going to Singapore for week 13. Unlucky 13, mind you. That's kind of interesting. And then there were 3. A track that, even though it is a lot of people's home Grand Prix, it's not a track that I favor. I not usually do pretty good on it, but a track that's loved by many. We are going to the Circuits of the Americas for week 14. That is on August 5th. And then there were 2. A track that this season we haven't raced on just yet, but in real F1 you can remember it was one of the I don't want to say worst races of the season, but us here in the Midwest F1 League, we always provide a solid show. We are going to the Yas Marina Circuits in Abu Dhabi for week 15. And then finally, to round out the Season 3 schedule, on August 19th, Season 3 will be finished off by one of the toughest tracks that we race on all season, one that's thrown in a lot of drama and a lot of excitement. We are going to Mexico for the final race of the season of Season 3. And that, ladies and gentlemen, what you see is the schedule for the Season 3 of the Midwest F1 League. And so let me read some of the chat going on here. A lot of people shouting for Monza. It's a couple shouts for Japan as well. I actually kind of want to quite have enjoyed racing at Japan. I know that's for a fact in the F2 series, although I did get taken out in that race. But so that is the schedule. You can screenshot that now, I guess, if you'd like. 16-round season starting at the home Grand Prix in Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Season 3 schedule. And with that, thank you for joining us here for Division 2. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting this race for you. And next week we head off to the United States at Circuit of the Americas in Austin for another solid race here in the Midwest F1 League. Thank you all for joining me, and we will see you next time.